recording.
Sir, one doubt I have.
Yeah.
Sir, in the PPT that you have sent us, under the do while statement, you have given an example, sir. Uh, Example which makes us understand how do while works. Sir,
Yes.
here actually we have used post increment, no, sir.
Where?
According to the example, sir, I guess it's page number 91 or 90, 93, sir, 93.
Yes.
Yeah, sir. So here we have used post increment.
Hmm.
So once it prints the value of A as 10, which is mandatory,
Hmm.
it will go to the condition no, sir, and then it will increment the value of A.
No. Here post increment, if it is a alone, na, if this increment operator is it post or pre, if it is a simple single alone statement, then there is no difference between pre increment and post increment. The both are doing
So,
the same value. Instead of this, if you're doing plus plus a, the meaning is same. Now what is the difference? When you get the difference, when this plus plus operator is assigned to some variable, then you will get the difference between that pre and post. If it is b is equal to a plus plus, then the value of a is assigned, then a get incremented.
okay,
Getting?
okay, sir, okay. Yeah, sir,
But
got it.
if
Because when I was checking the code, the doubt that I had is it has to print even value of A as 15 if it is post increment.
no, this is the first statement that has to be executed. This is the second statement that has to be executed, and this is the third statement that has to be executed. So the that statement is sequentially executed. Value get printed, increment, and then condition check.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sir, even for nested loop, sir,
Hmm.
it's like line by line only it will execute, no?
Yes, line by
Or
line.
first inner loop, then outer loop, like that.
Yeah, line by line means about this is the one of the problems about. Firstly, this while loop condition will be checked. If the condition is true, then it will go inside. This is the next statement. Yes, but this will be executed only if the condition is true. If the
Okay.
condition is true, it will go inside. If the condition is true, then it will go inside. If the condition is false, then this statement get executed. After this, again the condition will be checked like that.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Just do remember this flowchart. Whatever the flowchart I have shared now, do remember this. Yes. Any other doubts? No?
No, sir.
Okay, so we'll start with the new topic, that is function, and which is a very important points regarding to all languages. Every language, each and every language support the function. Though that C++, Java, Python, these are the OOP language, but the basic block of your every programming is the function. So what do by function? So function is a self-contained block of statement. Your definition is very easy to remember. It is self-contained block of statement. So if there are such statements, and if you are making a block of that statement, then you can say that that is my function. But the use of that block is, it is used to perform a coherent task of the some kind. So generally, why we are writing that statement inside the block? Because that statements are doing something for us. So that perform a specific task, that perform a coherent task of some kind means that perform a specific task. So the simple definition, it become a function is a block of statement which perform the specific task. Very simple, which perform a specific task. Okay, but why to write function? What is the need of, what is the necessity of writing the function? So the same example that you have solved earlier, for example, the diamond, to print the 4-diamond program. So in a 4-diamond program, actually, so you can think that the same code is repeated in my program. Some code is repeated, that is for loop. That for loop is repeated. Some for loop is repeated, that is the triangle, upper triangle and the lower triangle. That is repeated code. And that repeated code, I'm copy paste. So what happen if I am doing that? Some statements are there, and I need to execute that statements again and again and again and again, then what I'm doing, generally what I'm doing, I divided my one task, I divided my full task into the small parts. Okay, it is the small parts, that is known as a small task. And that one small task I am giving one name. A small task I'm giving as a name, that is print upper triangle. When I'm using the print upper triangle, whenever I need to print the upper triangle, then just I'm calling that task. When I'm calling the task, it means that you're calling that function. So generally the use of function is divide your program into the number of subtasks. Why we divide? To make your program smaller and more readable. It become, your program is a smaller and a more readable. And again, one thing that you are achieving is that is a code reusability. If you are copying the same code again and again and again, it means that here you are increasing the length of your program. If you are increasing the length of your program, it increase the length of your object code. If it increase the length of your object code, it will increase the length of your exe file, that is executable file. And if you are increasing the exe file, it means that more RAM memory is required to execute your program. So there is a memory wastage. Obviously there is a memory wastage. So you are wasting your memory just by repeating the same statement, just by copying the same statement again and again in the main function itself. So what you are doing, suppose some task is there, and if I want to execute that task and the same task is repeated in my program, then what I am doing, that task that I have to do, that statements I'm copy from my main program and I'm pasted somewhere else from my main program, and I'm giving the name to that first statement. I'm giving the name to that statement, and whenever I need to execute that statement, I'm calling that block by using its name. Getting the thing, why generally the need of the function?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So suppose you want to design a very big software. Okay, you want to design a library. Suppose you want to design a library, and suppose that library whole application that is required, you are writing into the main function itself. So what is the length of your main program? So it is up to the 2000 line or 5000 lines. But suppose if there are some statements are there that is repeatedly you are written, because the same thing that has to be executed repeatedly somewhere in your program. So what you are generally doing, you just copy that, you just cut that statements, whatever the repeated statement, you just cut that statement after the main function or before the main function. You create a block, just copy that statement into that block, define the name of that block, and whenever you need to execute that statement, call that block by using its name. Now again, one more advantage of using the function is your program becomes a more readable. And again, if your program is having some kind of error, and that suppose that the error is suppose syntax error, then suppose if your program, if your software is having the size of 10,000 lines, if software is having the 10,000 lines and you have some syntax error, then suppose syntax error, if you are compiling with the GCC, then you will get line number. Okay, line number. So what is line number? So line number 988. So you have to go to the 988, and what to do? You have to correct that particular line number 88. Okay, but if you are correcting that line number 88, it doesn't mean that it will not affecting the remaining part of your program. If this is a kind of the logical error, then what happened? If this is a kind of logical error, and if that statements are repeated 10 times in your program, and suppose you have only that logical error, you have only remove at the first statements only, first copy of the statement. So the 9 statements are still remaining there. So what you need to do? again you have to go to the same copy of that statement. You have to correct that logical error. Second error correction, third error correction, fifth error correction, sixth error correction. You have to do that correction 10 times. But suppose if the statements are written only once, and if you're calling that statement by using function name, then you just need to do only modification at a one time only, and remaining program will automatically corrected. Getting? So debugging of your program becomes very easy if you are using a function. You are achieving the code reusability, you are achieving easy debugging also, and the length of your bytecode or the length of your exe also become less if you are giving a function. But one more disadvantage of C function is it requires to call. The disadvantage of function is it requires to call. If you want to execute that statement, your function has to be called. If the function has to be called, there is an overhead of calling the function and return from the function. So to call the function, some instruction is needed, and to return from the function, again some instruction are needed. Okay, so to execute that statement, only suppose 2 or 3 statements are written inside the function. To execute that 2 or 3 statement, I have to execute the calling instruction, I have to execute the return instruction. That 2 instructions are the overhead. So generally what we do, if your function is having only 1 or 2 lines, we are not writing the function, we are directly copy that lines into the main program itself. But if your function is having suppose 15 to 20 lines, then if your function can be made of 50 to 20 lines, then we can do a function there. Getting? So if there is a calling overhead is there, return overhead is there, you can see that my program speed becomes less, program speed becomes less. But for calling, actually we require 1 microsecond only. For returning only you require 1 microsecond. 2 microsecond is wasted there. But our program is a very faster, our computer is a very faster in terms of 2 gigahertz, then that 1 microsecond is not a so much one. But it will matter if your program is a real time executed. Okay, so in a real time execution of the program, somewhere if you want to design, if you have the statement and you are designing that state, if you are copying that statement inside the function, and that statements are a very less statement, to execute that statement you require suppose 0.5 microsecond. But you just copy that statement into the function. So how many time generally we need to execute that statement? Only one statement require 0.5 microsecond. But if you are just copy that statement into the function, so what is overhead now? 1 microsecond for the function call, 0.5 microsecond to execute the statement, and 1 microsecond from the return from the function. So total 2.5 microsecond is required to execute a 0.5 microsecond statement. So that is overhead. So always remember that the function can be only made if you have a bunch of the statements are there. Got it? Now how the function is made in your C language. If you want to talk about the function in your C language, then these 3 things are very, very important one. So very first thing is the function declaration. Declaration, it is self-explanatory. Declaration means only declare, not define. Just like if all the politicians are declaring that I am doing this, I am doing that, but they are only declaring, they are not doing actually. Some politicians are only doing actually. Okay, so that is a definition. But before writing the definition, we should declare the function. But for whom we should declare the function? We are declaring the function for the compiler. Okay, so if you want to make an entry into the function table of your compiler, then what we are doing, before main function we are declaring that function, and we are telling to the compiler that there is a function name as this which is taking this argument and which is returning and this. The function declaration is also called as a function prototype. It is also called a function prototype. So prototype or the declaration, nothing but only declare that the name of the function, what is the input argument, and what is the output of that function. That is nothing but your declaration. But definition is different than declaration. Definition means your actual definition, actual representation of your function. So definition contains the declaration plus the statements which you should include in your function. That is known as a definition. So function declaration with a body is called as a definition. Getting? Now next one is the function call. Now you have written declaration, you have written definition. Now if you want to use that function, you should call it. If you are not calling the function, then that function is not get executed at all. Getting? So only definition, giving the definition doesn't guarantee that your function get executed. Your function will executed only if you are calling that function. Getting? So we'll see deeply into the function declaration. So declaration is also known as a function prototype. It informs the compiler about the three things. What are the three things? Very first one is the name of the function. Okay, very first one is the name of the function. What is the name of my function? Yes. Next one is the what are the number and the type of the argument. So how many argument that function is taking? Very second one. Third one is what is the type of that argument? That is the third one. Okay. Now fourth, that we need to inform to the compiler that what is the return value from that function. What is the return value? Now return value is nothing but the function is returning what? Returning integer, returning something, a float, returning what? What is returning? That is we are included into your return type. So whatever the function you are doing, suppose you call the function, you provide some input arguments, and after providing some input argument, the function are doing some processing. After doing some processing, the function is having some output. Now what is the type of the output? The type of the output is suppose integer. Then your return type should be integer. The type of the output is float. The return type should be float. If the type of the output is pointer, it should be pointer. Getting? So return type defines that what you are getting from that function. What you are getting. Int means you are getting an integer. Float means you are getting a float value. Okay. So while declaring, the name of the argument is optional in the declaration. So while giving a declaration, giving the name to that argument is not compulsory here. Giving the name is not compulsory, but you can still give. Okay. And always very important that function prototype should be terminated by semicolon. Okay, the last semicolon is very, very important here. This semicolon, only if you are adding semicolon, then this semicolon qualifies that this is not a definition, this is a declaration. Okay, so there is a difference between declaration and definition. The declaration ends with the semicolon and definition is not ending with the semicolon. Okay, now the prototype of writing the function declaration is, first one is we are putting the return type. What is the return type of my function? Second one is the what is the name of the function. Third one is the what is the parameter list. Okay, what is the parameter list? Okay, parameter list. So it means that how many parameters are there. Every parameter should be separated by comma. Every parameter should be separated by comma, and every parameter is having its own data type. Always remember that every parameter is having its own data type. Take an example here. Int max, int num1, comma int num2. Meaning is that here the max is the name of the function. Now by reading this only one line, what we are getting, the max, the name of the function, which is taking the two arguments, The first argument is the int, integer. Second argument is also integer. And what this max function is returning? The max function is returning an integer. Getting? So here, by looking at only one line, we can get the four things here. Very first thing is what is the name of the function. Second thing is how many input argument or how many input parameter it takes. Third is what is the data types of every parameter. Fourth one, what is the return type of the function. Getting? Now name parameter names are not important. It is an optional one. So instead of giving int num1 comma int num2, you can only give int max int comma int. You can give here int max int comma int. Okay. In a declaration only, you giving the name of to that parameter is not compulsory, but we follow this method. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes, getting?
Data type should be same for all the arguments, sir.
No. It might happen that first is int, second is float. Or first is float, second is int. Or first is float, second is int. Any combination you can give. Not compulsory. Okay.
What about return type that time, sir?
Yes. Return type also the same. Return type can be same, return type can be different. So any combination you can give here. It depends on what your function is doing. Just like take an example of division function. Okay. Now if this is the kind of division function, then what I'm doing here, the first argument is int, second argument is int, but what is the result? My division should be a float. To get the correct output, my division function should return a float value. So at that time, I am giving here float, and my function name is here division. Getting? So depending on the requirement of your program, you are deciding the data type of the parameter and deciding the return type of the function. Not compulsory that all should be same. Getting? It can be anything. It can be anything depending on your program. Okay. Now next one is the function definition. Now definition is nothing but your first line of your definition is very same as that of your declaration. Okay. You have declared here. The first line is very same. First line of your definition is same. So what is the difference here in a definition and the declaration? What is the difference?
Semicolon.
In a declaration it is semicolon, but in definition there is no semicolon. So what does the semicolon represent? Semicolon represent end.
Declaration.
Yeah, end of the declaration. But here, if you are putting here end, then it means that here end of my function. Now my function is not ended. Function is still there. The body of the function I have to declare here. So that's why I'm not putting here semicolon. Getting? So write the declaration without semicolon. Give the body by using curly bracket, and whatever the statement you want to include here itself. Okay, getting? And now next one is what should be your definition contain? Definition can have some local variables. Definition can have the different statements, and the last statement is the definition can have the return value. So why I am telling that the function can have return value? Because there are some function we can design which is not returning anything. If it is not returning anything, what is the data type? What is the return type here? It should be void. Getting? That's why I'm putting the void main function. Void main is not returning anything. Int main is returning an integer. Getting? So if you are putting the return type as a void, no need to put return value. Return value is only if there is a some return type you have mentioned here, and if it is a actually requirement of your program. Okay, if it is a requirement, then only return. If there no requirement, no need to return there. Okay, so return type denotes the type of the value that function will return. It is optional. Yeah, return value is optional. If it is omitted, it is assumed by integer default. Okay, always remember that. This is the again the one of the interview question. If I'm not putting here any return value, then what is the default default return value?
Int.
It should be int. Okay, it is the int. By default it is int. It is not void. If you are not giving return value, return type, then by default it is taking as an int. The body of the function is a component. Yes, the local variable declared inside the. Okay, so what about the local variable declared? For example, I have declared here integer a comma b. So if I'm declaring here I integer int a comma b, it means that now a and b is local to this function only. The meaning of local is that a and b is only available inside this block. Outside this block, it is not available. Its life is only within the block. If you go out of the block, then that variable get destroyed. That variables get destroyed. Getting? So the local means it will known by in that function only. Outside that function, that variable is unknown. That variable is unknown. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so we'll take one example here, definition example. Int max, the same max function we have implemented here. Now the declaration is int max int num1 comma int num2. Okay, so for giving the definition, actually we writing the same thing without semicolon, and then after that curly bracket. The curly bracket is the body. Now what is the body? Now the function is generally what the logic of writing the function here. If I'm giving the two numbers to this max function, it is returning the maximum of that two number. Okay, it is returning the maximum of that two number. Which one is max one? Num1 or num2? Which one is max? So here the logic that I have written here. First I have created the local variable result into result. Okay, then I am doing here if num1 is greater than num2, which is greater? Num1. Otherwise num2 is greater. So result is assigned to num1 if num1 is greater than num2. Result is assigned num2 if num2 is greater than num1. Getting? And then after getting the result, you are returning that. Return result. Okay. So what is the data type of the result? Int. Here result is the result you are returning. So the same data type should be present here itself.
So local variables means whatever we have given in the declaration.
Local variable, this actually this max is having the three local variable now. First one num1, second one is the num2, and third is the result. Num1 and num2, you will get the value of the num1 and num2 you are getting from the function call. When you are calling that function, you are getting the value of num1 and num2 by default. Okay, but here you explicitly creating this third variable. The necessity of that creating the third variable depends on the program to program. Okay, now here I want to store the maximum number. I require one variable, integer variable, so I declare that. But there this result is only accessible only this max variable. If you are accessing the result outside the max function, suppose there is a main function is there, in the main function, and if you are trying to print here result, then it will give error.
But we can print num1 and num2, sir. There.
Where?
In void main.
No, we can't print because num1 and num2 is also local to the max function.
Okay, sir.
It is also local. It is declared. So how to remember here where it is declared? Num1 and num2 declared in max. So it is local to max.
Okay.
Result is declared in max variable. So result is local to max. Very simple. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now next one is the function call. Very important one. Now we have write the function declaration. We have written the function definition. Now it means that here the function is ready to use now. If the function is ready to use, then I want to call it. If I want to call it, then how to call that function? If I want to call that function, how to call it? If I want to use that function, how to use it? Then if you want to use that function, then you have to call that function using the name. Very simple. Just call the function. So if I want to call Sharanya, so how I am calling Sharanya? Just by using her name, Sharanya. Yes. So here also I want to call that function. What is the name of the function? Max. So I'm calling that function with the name max. Okay. Now if you are calling the function, what is the requirement of that function? What is the requirement? The max function is saying that I require the two integer variables. I require two integer variable. So now it is become compulsory that provide the two integers here. Provide two integers. Getting? So if the max is required to integer, now it is your responsibility to give that two integers. And suppose in case of you are only giving one integer, then your compiler gives the error. Compiler is saying that max, generally max is taking two arguments, but you are only giving one, so not allowed. You will get a syntax error there, and you have to resolve it by giving the two arguments here. You are giving the two arguments, this A and B. Now here A and B you are passing, it means that here you are passing the value of A and B. Okay, so you are passing value. So it means that what is the value of A? Tell me.
10.
Value of B?
20.
So 10 and 20 will be passed. Where this A gets stored? A is stored into the num1. So now it is clear that variable A and variable num1 both are different variable. Both are the different locations, but its value is same only. Getting?
Yeah, sir.
A is a separate variable which is available in main. Num1 is the separate variable which is available in max variable, max function. But here what we need to pass here, we need to pass the value of A to num1. So we are passing it by value here. This is called as a pass by value. It is called as a pass by value. Okay. So we are passing the value of the variable to the function or parameters. Getting? Yes, everyone getting this?
Yes, sir.
This int A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, that is declaring, sir.
Yeah, it is a declaration. The declaration is in a main function. So A, B, C, these three variables are the local to main function only. If it is local to main function, we cannot access these variable by its name in a other function. Getting?
Yes, sir.
A, B, C, these are only available into this block. This is the block. You can access the ABC within this block only. You cannot access ABC outside block, but you can access the value. Accessing the variable is different and accessing the value is different. You are accessing the value by passing that value. The value of A passed to num1. Value of B passed to num2. Getting? Now num1 and A and B value get passed to num1 and num2. Now what the max is doing? The max is again creating the third variable, a result. Yes, and now it is get compared. Now 10 greater than 20 because num1 is 10, num2 is 20. So 10 greater than 20. Condition
Condition
false.
is false.
Condition false, so else part get executed. So what is the result? Result is equal to 20.
20.
So what get written here? Which value get written?
20.
20.
Now this return value we have to collect. Okay, Max has written it, but are you collecting it? If you want to collect, just make that equal to C equal to. So whatever the return value of the Max, it is get stored into the C variable. Okay. Now
Yes,
is it
sir.
compulsory to do this? If I'm not doing this, then does any error is there? Does it have any error in function call? There is no error.
No, sir. No, sir.
It will
There is
not
no error.
collect the value.
Yes, very simple. Max is returning, but you are not collecting. It is very simple, like someone is throwing the ball to you, but you are not accepting that ball. You are not catching that ball. It is very simple. If you want to catch it, just make the statement C is equal to this. C is equal to
If
max
we
of
don't give C is equal to that, then what it will print?
Pardon?
What will it print, sir? If we don't give C is equal to, then what will it print?
If I'm not giving here max
Yeah.
C equal to, then what happened? What is the default value of C? Default value of C?
Garbage.
Garbage value.
Garbage get printed.
Local garbage.
Getting?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, do not get complication. It is a very simple and basic thing. If the function is returning and if you want to collect, then just collect it. If you don't want to collect, do not collect. If you are not collecting, then you are not getting the output. Okay, so if you want the output, just do this one, C equal to max A comma B, and you are getting the output as a max is 20. So got it? Function call.
Yes, sir.
How to do function call? First is name of the function, arguments, and then semicolon. Last is semicolon. And if the function is returning equal to some variable equal to, if the function is not returning, no need to do this. If the function is void only, void display, it is only displaying the value. So then just call display. Do not do C equal to display. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you have any small doubts, you just have to ask it. Okay? Because if the doubt will be get bigger and bigger. Now the same program I have written in one slide only. Okay, so very first one is the hash include stdio.age, the integer max, so it is function declaration.
Function declaration.
Okay, then after that main function. Okay, main function I have written main program integer a 100, b 200, integer ret. Then ret is equal to max of a comma b, and max value is ret. Yes, return 0. Why return 0? Because int main is there. If there is a void main, then no need to put the return 0. Got it? Now next one is the declaration we have used, calling also we have used. Now what is remaining? Definition. Definition for definition. I am after completing the main, I am starting the definition of the max. Okay. So int max, int num1 comma int num2. Max function will be called. It will get the value of a and b, and then here it get compared, and what is the maximum value it get returned. Maximum value get collected in ret and printf get executed. Getting?
Sir,
Yes,
now function definition we have given it at the end, no, sir?
Yes.
What if the same function definition is given before even the main function is started?
Yeah, if it is written before the main function, then generally no need to give the declaration.
Okay.
That is the only difference there.
Okay.
Definition, if you are putting before main, then before coming to the main function, compiler will read that definition and he extract the declaration part from the definition itself.
But still it is correct, no, sir, if it is
Yeah,
even
it is still correct. It is still correct.
okay.
Okay. But actually, why we write the definition outside below the main function? Because we are using that main, that is whatever our part, logical part, we are putting into the main only. And what is the implementation we will do afterwards. Implementation means the implementation of the function. It is very similar, like suppose in your college, suppose you want to arrange one function. Okay, suppose teacher day function you want to arrange. Okay, then generally what you are doing, so you have the coordinators. Okay, 4 or 6 coordinates are there, and suppose that 6 coordinators are first do the meeting and they distribute the task. That is the decoration part you handle, then invitation part you handle, then the suppose some cleaning and all the things you handle. Okay, the remaining part just you handle. Okay, administration you handle, the my marketing and part you handle. So you distribute all the things, and at the day only when you do the meeting, actually now you will realize that if I distributed that thing, the person that I have allocated that work, he definitely do that. Now you don't have to deal with it, how they are going to perform it. Suppose they are going to give the definition, the invitation to the staffs. Got it? So that implementation part we can do afterwards. But main thing, the main implementation of our program, main logic of our program, we can put into the main function. Okay, so by looking at the main function only, I can get that this is the program of getting the maximum value from the two numbers. Now how that maximum value we are getting, we can think afterwards. Okay, that's why I'm putting that main definition out after the main function. Yes.
So
Sir, declaration should be before calling the function, no,
Yes,
sir?
yes, before calling the function. This declaration you can even put into the main function. The first line of your main function can be of int max, int num1, comma int num2. The meaning is that is known as a local declaration. If this declaration is inside main, it is called as a local declaration. It means that what is max, it is only known by the main function. And if you are declaring that max outside main, it means that every function present in your program know that there is a function name as a max. Getting? So we can write the declaration outside main also, inside main also. Inside written known as a local declaration, outside main known as a global declaration. Yes.
okay, sir.
Sir, it doesn't make difference in output, no, sir?
No, it doesn't make a difference between an output in our case. In our case, but suppose there are third function is there. Suppose display function is there, which is also using the max function. Third function, display function, which is using max function. And if max declaration you are only declaring in main, so display will not able to call the max function there. Okay.
Yes, sir.
If the main know that max function is there, main can only call. If
Okay.
all know that max function is there, max or any function can call it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So we'll do one program.
Sir,
Yes.
this RET result will return to RET, no, sir?
Yes. The result, value of result will be returned to RET, not
RET.
result. Result is not returned. The
Okay,
value
that
of
value
result.
will.
Value of
So-
result.
So to print RET, first this down part will get executed.
Yeah, it's the same thing I will explain with you again. So what happened? What is your execution? This is your first line. of your program, it will go inside here, 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 and you will come to here. Okay, so you are come to execute this max a comma b. Now max a comma b, it is a function call. If it is a function call, then what happened? Your program control pass to the max function. Your program control pass from main function to max function. Now it will leave the program main. It will leave the program main momentarily. Only this some part of the main function has executed. Remaining part is remaining. But meanwhile, you are calling function. If you are calling the function, it will go to execute that function. Now your program control, that is your CPU. Your CPU is come here to execute max. It will create the two variable num1 and num2. The value of a is passed to num1, value of b is passed to num2. Third variable. Now what happened? Whatever the content of the max will get executed. First is int res, then condition check, it is not executed, so else is executed, so a result is equal to num2. Okay, so until now it get executed. Now what is the statement? Statement is return. Now what the return statement is doing? Return statement is very opposite to the calling of the function. What the calling is doing? It will transfer the control of your CPU to function. What the return is doing? Return will pass the transfer of your function, transfer of your control of the function to the calling function. Got it?
Yes,
So
sir.
first I have come here, executed, then again after returning I am going back to where I have come. Okay, जहां से आए थे वहीं पे गए. Okay, so here I have written my program control to where I have come from. I have come from this line, so I have come to here. So I with the value, with the value result is 200. So this res max a comma b, it will the result as, what is the result here? It is 200. And what is the next statement that is get executed? Ret is equal to 200. Getting?
Yes.
So RET is equal to 200. Now, after the RET is equal to 200, what is the next statement?
It
Printf
returns
max
integer.
is percentage d RET. So RET is max value is 200 get executed. Then after that return 0. Now what is again return 0? The main has called someone.
Huh.
Main has called someone, but who called main? Operating system. If the operating system has called the main function, then if the operating system has called the main function, then after return 0, it is returning to whom? It is returning, the function is always returning to the function with the function that has called. Who has called main function? Operating system has called. So it will return to operating system. This return 0 will be returned to, it will be returned to the operating system. Got it? Because main is the very first function called by your operating system. Getting the execution now?
Sir.
Yes. Any doubt?
No,
Very
sir.
small doubt you can ask. Very small doubts can be asked. Okay. How the actual execution? Do you have the subject name as your embedded system 8051? Have you learned, or even your 8085
Coming
No.
semester.
in coming semester?
8051 we have in the coming semester.
In your next 5th semester?
Huh, 5th or 6th, sir, because microcontroller is one of the subject.
Okay, so the same, actually the same thing you are learning in your 8051 there. You actually seen there how your function call will be placed. There is stack memory is there, and there is a that program counter is there. How that program counter is loaded with the next instruction address, and what the content of that program counter will be backup. So all these things actually you will get to know when you go to that 8051 actually, and it is a very interesting one. I like that 8051.
So, but then that language is not similar to C, no?
That is the that is the assembly language. But the execution is very simple, same. The what is language? Language is the way of the representation only.
Correct.
Huh?
Yes.
Assembly language, the same. Suppose you have some logic. No, you can design your logic in C language. You can design the logic in assembly. You can design the logic in C++ or Java or something else. But what is the output? The output will be same. So the language doesn't matter, but the logic becomes same. So, and the logic is actually how your function will be executed. And the function is all the function, all languages function will be executed on your hardware itself. That is your CPU. Okay. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll have one program. We'll do one program. Are you able to see my screen?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now
Yes, sir.
include stdio. Okay. Then integer main. Return 0. Now very first thing is I need to do one program in which I want to write a function, addition function, very simple function, addition function. So I need to first think about what should be the prototype or the declaration of my addition function. First let me decide the name of the function. Okay, what should be the name of the function?
Add.
Okay, add. Okay, add is my name of the function. Then next one is second thing I need to define how many argument it is passing. How many argument it is taking. What is input
2
argument?
arguments.
3.
Yes, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can design
Int,
anyone.
num1.
Okay. Suppose
Three.
firstly we will take the 2 argument addition. Okay. Input is 2 argument. Output is result. That is your addition. Okay. So and what is the data type of that argument?
Num1,
Int.
num2.
Data type.
Okay,
Int
int.
number.
Int, comma,
Num.
int.
Huh.
Okay, there's the data type. Okay, now next one is the what is the return type. If I add the two numbers, two integer number, what should be the result? It is always integer.
Int.
So it is int. Int, add int, comma, int. Okay, so that is my declaration. This is my function declaration or the prototype. Okay, now next one is I want the two variables here. Integer a is
A,
equal to 10
10.
and integer b is
B
equal
is
to
equal
suppose
to 20.
20 and one more result
We
variable
just-
res variable and res I'm using for
Add.
adding the a
Add
comma
comma B.
b. Okay, so this
So
is
now
called
this A, B, and RES is local, no, sir?
local to main function. A,
Main
B,
function.
res, these are the local to main function only.
Main
Okay.
function. Okay.
What the add function is returning, it return addition. So I get the addition in my res variable. So just I need to print the addition.
Print. Addition.
Addition is equal to percentage d
Percentage.
D, comma, yes.
Yes. Now
Yes, sir.
here, what is the advantage here? I don't have to focus on first time what is the implementation of addition function. So I want to find out the given number is a prime number or not. Okay, just I'm calling prime function. Now what is the implementation? I will look after. But main program is completed here. Okay, so my main program is completed. Now what is remaining? The remaining is definition. Definition is
Function
int
definition.
add integer. Now here I need to give here the variable name or parameters name. Parameter name is num1 comma num2. Now
So
we
it
can
can't
give,
be A and B, no, sir?
it can be A and B, but both variables are different one. Though you are giving the same name, here, it doesn't mean that you are accessing the A and B from the main function.
Oh,
Getting? So that's why to remove that confusion, I'm making it as a different variable name. Okay. Okay, so num1, value of A get copied into num2, value of B copy into the value of A copy into num1, value of B copy into the num2. Now I require one more variable, suppose C variable. Yes. Now C is equal to num1 plus
Number plus.
num2. Yes. And then after that return
You can't see.
C. Okay. Yes. Very
Yes.
easy. Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm saving this program and I'm running this program, and what should my result? Result is okay. So just need to change the build system. C language. Okay. Control B. Okay. Addition is equal to 3. Okay. So now you
Yes,
can
sir.
design a program which is taking the input from the user. That is, enter the value of A, enter the value of B. Scanf, do to scanf, and then after that res is equal to add of A comma B. Okay.
Can we take one scanf only? Scan
Yes,
A and
yes, yes, we can take one scanf, percentage D, then comma, and then address of A, comma, address of
Ampersand
B.
A, ampersand B.
We can input the number of the inputs in the single scanf. Yes. Getting.
But if you want to check prime number in int add, we have to give that formula whatever we use for prime
Yeah, the
number.
function name should be different. Huh? It should not be add, because what is the function name? The function name
Prime.
defines what your function is doing. Huh? So add function cannot do prime. So it is misleading. Huh? So that's why to first think that what should be my function name. Huh? So getting.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So instead of this big code, I can put here the very small code also. Return num1 plus num2. The same output you can get. Okay. I'm not creating third variable, that third addition is stored into third and then return C. I'm not doing that. Directly I can do here. Return num1 plus num2. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if I'm not doing, or suppose instead of that, okay. Control C and new file, Control V, Control S, and then okay, my function name is display function, okay, which is not taking any argument. And here there is a display function, void display, which is not returning anything, which is not taking any argument, and which is only printing good afternoon. Okay, tell me what is the output for the same program that I have typed here. What is the output?
Good afternoon, only, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
I guess
If
it
I'm,
won't display anything.
yeah, it is not displaying anything.
It will just return 0 and then it will.
Yeah, because the same points I want to point out here. Display, you have written here definition. Display declaration you have done, but you haven't do here.
So if
Function
it
call.
was there in function call, that part it will execute.
Yeah, function call is not there. So main function, if the main function is not calling any function, and that function is not going to execute. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Suppose there is one more function, message function. Message. Goodbye. Okay, now what is the output?
So no matter how many functions are there, still if it is not called, it will not display
So
anything.
not
Yeah. Okay. So if you have thousands of function written, and if you are not calling that function, then none of the function get executed. Got it? That is the moral here. Okay. And suppose if I'm calling here message, then
goodbye will print.
it will print only goodbye. It will not print display, that is good afternoon. It will only print goodbye. Now
Both will this.
Both will get
Bye
printed.
and good afternoon.
both mean which one first?
Bye and
Goodbye.
good afternoon.
First is goodbye, second is good
Second is
afternoon.
good afternoon.
Now
Two times.
Goodbye, good afternoon, goodbye, good afternoon.
yes, first is goodbye. Okay, so how it get executed? First main function, message function called, it will go to the message,
Message
will
goodbye will print.
print goodbye, it will return to main. There is again function called display, again come to display, again execute it, again come back to main, again message, again go to message, print goodbye, again come back to display, again do function call, again print good afternoon, again come back to main, your function is over. Got it? So
Yes,
it
sir.
means that if the function, if you have written, the function can be called any number of times. You can call the function at any number of times. It is no matter that you are only calling the function 1 or 2 times only. And the sequence that you have defined that function doesn't mean that that function will be executed in that sequence only.
So
You have written the display first, and then after that you have written message, but which function has been called, that will be executed first. So message has called first, it will execute first, then after that display call, then display will be executed. Got it? So the sequence of definition doesn't guarantee that the function will executed first and which function is executed last. The execution of the functions will be depending on the in what sequence you are calling that functions. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now what is the output?
good
Good afternoon, then
afternoon and
goodbye.
goodbye.
Good
Goodbye,
afternoon.
sir. Goodbye.
Only goodbye.
Good afternoon, then goodbye, sir.
Okay. So first, do not get panic here. First, in a main function, you are called message.
Yes, sir.
Go to message. Again, there is a function call. In a
Yes.
message, display function call, it will go to display. Now what happened here?
Good afternoon will print.
It will print good afternoon.
Later goodbye.
Goodbye.
So what happened in this program actually? Control Z. Here. So here it's totally depending on that calling of your function. So very first function that you have called as a main function. So in your stack memory, the main function has been created. Now in a main function, actually, you have called a message function. So it will load the message function into the stack memory. So you know stack memory, it is when the new function came or new item is inserted, it is inserted at the top. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it is
Yes,
inserted
sir.
at the top.
First in
So your message will be at the top of main. Okay. Now in a message function, you have called again one more function, and that is the your display function.
Yes.
So message will be called. So the display function is push. The display function is push Now your function, your stack is having three. Your stack is having the three functions here. Now display is executing. Now when the display is executing, actually your output is good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Then after that, now your display has over. Now it is returned to whom?
Message.
It is returned to the calling function. Who have called display? Message has called.
Okay.
So it is not returning to main, it is returning to the calling function. So who has called it? Message. So it will return to message. What is the next statement?
Goodbye.
So after good afternoon, the next statement goodbye will be executed. Message is over. Message, if the message is over, then it is returned into a home. Who has called it?
Main.
Main has called it. So return 0 will be executed. The main is also over. It is also pop. So you can see here in a whiteboard, actually we have come to here. Then when display has done, it will again go to the, so it means that it is pop now. This is the push operation. These are all the push operation. This is also push operation. Now what is this? What is this operation? It is known as a pop operation. Okay. Now next one is, now message has done its work. It will go to the main. Now your stack
Main
is
will
only
be-
having main function, because display is pop, message is also pop, display as pop, message also pop, message also not there, only one function is their main function. This operation is called as a pop function. Okay. Now main function, that is return 0, is only executed, remaining to execute. So return 0 executed. Now what happened with the main? Main is again pop. Main is again pop. Main is the again pop. And how many functions remaining in my stack now?
0.
0 function. So if there is a 0 function available into the stack, it means that your program has terminated. Got it? Getting this point?
Yes,
This
sir.
is very important. If you are not understood, just I can explain one more, because the same thing we have to revise in the recursion itself. Recursion is the very important point in your C language. In the recursion, function is calling itself. How that function call will be there with the help of the stack, I will explain you. But is it now
Yes, sir.
clear? Main is calling message, message is calling display. Now display returning to message, message returning to main. Always remember that the function will be returned to the calling function only. Who has called that function is returned to that one only.
Function can be called in anywhere of the whole program, no sir?
Anywhere, any
Not
function
only in the main function, anywhere it can be called.
any function can call any function. Even now you can call here main function itself. You can even call main function. Now this program is in a recursion. How? Because main is calling message, message is calling display, display is calling main, main is again calling message, message is calling display, display is calling main. So this program is a loop.
Yes,
This
sir.
program in a loop. If you execute this program, you can say that here the output is good afternoon, goodbye, good afternoon, goodbye, good afternoon, goodbye, like that. Your computer becomes hang here. A computer become hang because it is the infinite loop. When it is infinite loop, your computer becomes hang.
So goodbye didn't get print only.
Yes, because it get printed goodbye, but my computer becomes hang here.
Processing.
You can see the output in your GCC terminal. Actually, this is my ID. That is always get hang if there is a program infinite loop or the and stack memory, and it is take the help of the stack memory. So stack memory uses the RAM memory. So your RAM memory get finished. So I have to forcefully terminate this program because it will stop only when my RAM memory is Not there. If my RAM memory is there, it will executing that program repeatedly. Okay, so the moral is any function can call any function in your program. Even main can call main. Even main can call main function. This type of if the function is calling itself, then it is called as a recursion. It is called as a recursion. It is a separate lecture on that recursion, whole 2 hours lectures. So are you getting this point now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next topic is the call by value and call by reference, but actually I'm not starting that point, but I will give you some assignments. Okay, I will post out that assignments in this WhatsApp group itself. Okay, and one more thing I want to discuss with you. Okay, so do you have any timing issues? This 2 o'clock to 3:30, that is our time.
Sir, actually, morning is relatively
Yes.
better, sir. It was better actually when it was 11 in the morning.
Yes.
It was actually good.
Okay, so 11. Instead of 11, if it is 10, then
No
Yes, sir,
problem,
better,
sir.
sir.
No problem. Even if it is
better?
at 10, no problem. Yeah.
Problem.
10.
Yes, sir.
So from tomorrow onwards, we'll start with the 10.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
10 to 11:30, sir.
10 to 11:30 or 12, we can get it.
Okay,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Often.
Actually, meanwhile, what is the problem? My health issues are also going on. Okay, so that's why I'm reducing that length of the session up to 1.5 hour only.
No problem, sir.
No problem,
No
sir.
problem, sir. 10 to 11:30 or 12, anything is fine, sir. But
Yes.
morning session was
But
better.
morning session was better.
Yes, yes. So from tomorrow, we will start with the morning session. The Ashok sir has also called me, and
Okay.
he is also saying that the same thing. Sir, shift the timing. Okay. So the assignments is the simple program based on the functions. You need to implement the previous program that you have done earlier. And that is your even number, odd number, leap year. The remaining one, I will post out all the statements with the help of the function. Yes.
So it's just like giving the formula for that particular program in the definition. That's all.
The function. Yes, yes, yes. In the function definition. Suppose one program I am doing here for you.
Sir, you cannot screen the scene. Sir.
Yes. Now are you able to see?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Suppose I want to do that factorial program. Factorial. Okay. Which is taking one variable, n variable, and which is returning an integer variable. Okay. Now what I need to do here, I required one variable, suppose num variable from the user. I'm directly hardcoding it 5. Okay. And one result variable and res, and then res is equal to factorial of n. Okay, I'm putting the n here. Now res contains my factorial, and then I'm printing that result here.
Factorial
of percentage d is equal to percentage d slash
Sir,
n,
that
comma, yes.
that n should be num, no, sir.
Which one?
Res is equal to factorial of n.
N.
Is that?
Yeah, it is integer. No?
No, sir. That int at starting you have taken, no, sir. Int num is equal to 5. That num we should declare, or the first in the main function what it could be there, that one, sir.
So yeah, this num is the local variable of main. It should be declared inside the main only.
No, sir. Factorial of num, no, sir.
Num. Sir, 5 if you don't.
Okay. This variable, na?
Yeah.
Yeah. Variable name. Actually, I have declared num, so it should be num here.
Num. Yes, sir.
Okay, now next one is the definition, integer factorial of the int n. And one more thing, if it is declared n here, is it compulsory to declare n here? In a declaration, I have
Yes,
put
sir.
it here n.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Is it compulsory to
Compulsory.
declare? No, no
Yes, sir.
compulsory. No compulsory. You can
Sir,
use the
it is
different.
syntax, no, sir. Syntax should be same, no, sir.
No, no, it is declaration actually. In a declaration, now even now, if you are not putting here that variable name, it is also correct. If you are putting variable name, it is also correct. And it doesn't mean that the same variable name you should use in your definition.
Yes, sir. That is not compulsory.
It is not compulsory. That is, you can put here n1, you can put here n2, you can put any number here. Okay, not compulsory. Because you are giving the variable name is even not compulsory.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Same is also no problem, no, sir.
Same is also no problem. Different is also no problem. Okay. So int f, yes, you know that. And one more variable I need, I. So what is my formula? For
Fact.
I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to m,
M
I plus plus, and then f is equal
is equal
to
to
F
f
into
into
F
I.
into I.
And then last one is return f. Okay, done. My program output is factorial of 5 is 120. Okay, so like that, the even number, odd number, leap year. Again, I think that addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, just all do that for function in a one only. Or all the function that you are implementing, just put into the one file only, and just use the different main function for calling that function, calling the different function. So for factorial, use these lines. For addition, use the different lines. For subtraction, use the different line. So this is only for testing purpose. Here you are testing that. Or even you can do that menu driven program. Yes, we will do that menu driven program. Calculator, we are designing one calculator. Have you designed the calculator?
Yes.
Design the calculator. Press 1 for addition, press 2 for subtraction, press 3.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
We are definitely designed that calculator. Okay, so what you need to do, just one program in the all program, all functions, and if you want to test one function, whatever the statement associated that function, you just put it here. And if you want to put, if you want to test another one, just comment it. Okay, and then just use the another one, another statements. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I will stop here, and tomorrow we will have more practice on the functions, 2 or 3 actually programs we will take. Then after that we will start with the call by value and call by reference. But before starting call by reference, actually we need to cover that pointer concept. But before pointer, we will finish the recursion part of the function, very important one. We'll have some different exercises on the recursions. Very important point regarding to your placement. Very important point, VVIP, recursion. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Pointer is also very important. Pointer, string, recursion. These are very important points. Okay.